The third step, that is the realm of the legendary supreme beings. In the entire ceiling boundary, third step cultivators are incredibly rare, and even in the outer realm, they are almost unheard of. To reach the third step in cultivation is enough to sweep across the heavens and earth. Even the sky itself would not dare to challenge such a power. They are the kings among all cultivators. Before them, every other cultivator is like an ant, destined to be obliterated. A shattered nirvana cultivator can become the sect master of a whole sect, and one who has undergone the heavenly decay tribulation might even become a grand elder. But in the eyes of a third step cultivator, these people are still just ants, easily killed at will. This is the power, the cruel reality of the cultivation world, where the weak are devoured by the strong. If at this moment Wang Lin had reached the third step, Shui Daozi would have to be extremely cautious if he wanted to kill him. In fact, he might not even choose to fight. Instead, he would treat Wang Lin as an honored guest, sit down, and exchange answers to their respective needs through mutual benefit. If Wang Lin were a third step cultivator, whether it was the Alliance, the Sea of Clouds, or the Luotian Star Domain, he could easily sweep through them. Even Master Lu would have to be polite, showing mutual respect and never hastily starting a battle. Power is everything. It is the very foundation of survival in this ruthless cultivation world. I underestimated you, little ant. But the more you act like this, the more I want to kill you. An ancient voice echoed through the heavens and earth, reverberating like thunder. That giant hand withdrew back into the star mist, and as the mist churned violently, a young man in a Taoist robe slowly emerged from within. This youth had white hair, yet his face was fair and clean. As he stepped out, his gaze, cold and sharp, locked onto Wang Lin below. Third step cultivators rarely act with their true bodies. In most battles, they merge with the heavens and split their spirit to fight. The vast heavens and earth offer endless places for them to materialize their split spirits. Only in life or death battles between third step supreme beings would they use their true bodies. The fact that Shui Daozi appeared in person shows how urgently he wishes to kill Wang Lin and how cautious he is about him. What he feared was that Wang Lin might be the reincarnation of his master, in the process of recultivating, and that Wang Lin might possess a heavenly reversal treasure. As the white-haired youth emerged from the mist, Wang Lin, standing on the ground, instantly erupted with a fierce killing intent. This was the moment he had been waiting for, the moment his enemy revealed his true form. This battle today must not be swayed by any faint hope of survival, Wang Lin thought fiercely. If I hold on to any hope, I'll lose my edge, my will to fight, and my rebellious intent. In that case, I will certainly die. Only by throwing away all chances of survival and pushing myself into a corner can I fight for a bright future. Wang Lin's expression twisted with madness. Having made up his mind, he severed all paths of retreat, forcing himself into a deadlock. In reality, the moment the white-haired youth appeared, Wang Lin was already in a desperate situation. In that instant, as the white-haired youth emerged from the mist, Wang Lin suddenly waved his arms to both sides and let out a low roar that echoed toward the heavens. To kill me, you must pay the price. As Wang Lin's roar rang out, he soared into the sky, unwavering. Like a shooting star, he charged toward the sky. In that very moment, the nearly 100 beasts from the primordial wasteland surged around him, their bodies glowing with blood, as endless blood runes appeared, dense and boundless, an incalculable force. At Wang Lin's summons, these blood runes surged out, radiating the power to annihilate the world. They all rushed toward the white-haired youth. Their shrill whistling was terrifying. Each blood rune was formed by condensing the blood essence of a fierce beast, imbued with the Tao soul unique to the Sea of Clouds' ferocious beasts, making their power far surpass those refined from other star domains. As the blood runes screamed toward their target, even the starry sky turned blood red. The terrifying whistling and deafening booms shook the heavens and earth, heading straight for the white-haired youth. You still know the rune clan techniques, but such divine abilities are useless to me. Shui Daozi's expression remained unchanged. As the endless blood runes approached, his right hand casually waved forward. Great liberation collapsed Tao. Shui Daozi's voice was calm, yet as it spread, It felt as though the roar of a celestial god was shaking the heavens. His voice transformed into an increasingly intense roar, reverberating through the surroundings like an earth-shattering explosion. The blood runes collided with that sound wave, and they shattered into nothingness, unable to get near Shui Daozi's body. The explosion was as boundless as the runes themselves, spreading wildly across the heavens and earth. Booms echoed, and the entire Fifth Order star domain trembled violently. A massive rift appeared with a sharp tearing sound, splitting the star domain in two. Rune blood transformation. Wang Lin formed hand seals and spat out a mouthful of blood. The blood was eerie, and as it sprayed out, it immediately absorbed the blood light from the collapsing blood runes around him. In an instant, the blood before him became a deep red, transforming into a blood orb. With lightning speed, it shattered through all incoming divine abilities, heading straight towards Shui Daozi. However, just as the blood orb was about to collapse, Water Path Master's gaze swept across, and with a sudden, thunderous crash, it shattered. In that very instant, the white-haired youth swiftly reached out with his right hand, and a drop of blood from Wang Lin's orb, which had been spewed out, no longer collapsed, but rapidly fell into the youth's hand. The white-haired youth held Wang Lin's drop of blood and immediately swallowed it, his eyes suddenly flickering with light. It's not reincarnation. The collapse of the blood rune did not surprise Wang Lin. His 10 million sword auras had caught the opponent off guard, creating a small wound, and now the white-haired youth was utilizing his third-step divine ability, causing all spells to collapse before him. The blood rune itself was a form of spell, so it naturally couldn't withstand his power. But this was exactly what Wang Lin wanted. With the collapse of the blood orb and the destruction of all surrounding runes, the entire world was almost dyed red. In that instant, Wang Lin swung both of his hands and bellowed, "Forbidden Path." The restriction was not a spell but a force born from the primal energy of the universe when it first opened during the primordial era, forming its own unique path. Especially since Wang Lin had fused three great restrictions together, he had almost infinitely traced the origins of the Forbidden Path. At this moment, it unleashed its power, shaking nearly 100 primal continents. The restrictions rapidly shrank under his hands, and with a thunderous crash, they surged toward Water Path Master. Annihilation seals for heaven and earth. Life and death seals for the body. Time seals for the spirit. The three great restrictions merge as one. Seal. 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 Seal the heavens and earth you stand upon. Seal the power of your body. Seal the might of your essence spirit. Wang Lin thrust both hands forward with a fierce motion. The roar of thunder reverberated, and except for the continent beneath Wang Lin's feet, over 100 primal continents formed a circular formation around Water Path Master, surrounding him from all sides with a pressure that stunned the heavens and earth, closing in. The restrictions from the 100 primal continents, after gathering their strength, exploded in an instant. The annihilation seal wrapped around the heavens and earth, forming a massive prison, trapping him. The life and death seals transformed into two forces of life and death, swirling around, gradually enveloping the white-haired youth's body from the front and rear, forming a life and death barrier. The time seal, under Wang Lin's flowing moon technique, reversed time by 5,000 years. As it erupted, an ancient aura spread across the heavens and earth, covering the essence spirit of the white-haired youth. With Wang Lin's shout, the three great restrictions exploded. The three great forbidden arts. Too bad there's no fourth one, or it might have some real power. Water Path Master's eyes flashed, and his right hand swung forward once more. With that swing, the heavens and earth collapsed, and the great liberation collapse Dao he had previously used still hadn't faded. Now, as he swung again, it reached its peak, creating a burst of destruction that affected all beings in the world. The endless collapse reverberated, causing the nearly 100 primal continents around him to instantly crack and then shatter in the blink of an eye. The simultaneous destruction of these hundreds of continents, with their incredible power, could only be achieved by a third-step cultivator. However, despite the collapse of the primal continents, the three great restrictions quickly absorbed the bloodlight left behind by the dispersing blood runes. This bloodlight spread in all directions, completely sealing the white-haired youth inside. The three great restrictions sealed the heavens and earth, the body, and the essence spirit, but they couldn't seal the soul because the fourth restriction was missing, preventing the true unification. But Wang Lin, using great wisdom, took advantage of the bloodlight from the countless fierce beasts that had been destroyed and transformed into blood runes. He used this bloodlight to dye the soul, thus giving the restrictions an imperfect completion. Your insignificant ant-like divine abilities are useless, even with the bloodlight completing them. The white-haired youth took a step forward, no longer using any divine abilities. Instead, he simply walked through, forcefully pushing forward. Having cultivated to the third step, his body was fully attuned to the laws of the universe. Wherever he stood, the laws themselves were manifested. No divine abilities could halt his progress. As he moved, the heavens and earth seemed to revert to their primal state, creating a path for him to walk. Even the fusion of the three great restrictions, which locked all divine abilities, trembled before him. The time seal collapsed first, unable to seal his essence spirit, followed by the life and death seals, which shattered, unable to trap his body. Finally, the annihilation seal dissipated, unable to continue sealing the heavens and earth. Despite the destruction of all three great restrictions, because they did not belong to spells or laws, there was a moment when the white-haired youth's body paused slightly. This was the exact moment Wang Lin had been waiting for. Divine Chariot. Wang Lin's pupils contracted, his hair disheveled, eyes blood-red as he let out a wild scream. The thunder beast transformed into a divine chariot. Its 10,000 zhang-long spear surged forward, creating a streak of light that flew straight at Waterpath Master. The power behind it was so immense that, as it launched, it tore open a rift, splitting the fifth order star domain in half. After the long spear, a 7-colored war chariot, over 100 zhang in size, flashed with 7 sharp spikes, forming a rainbow that gathered together and suddenly shot forward, charging straight towards Waterpath Master. At this moment, all rules before these two divine chariots were bound to collapse. The rules couldn't stop them, the heavens couldn't stop them, and no force could prevent these two divine chariots from their path. This was the true power of the divine chariot. A war chariot capable of shooting down celestial beings from the sky. For the first time, Waterpath Master's expression changed. During the Great Calamity, Treasure Master perished with overwhelming regret. Everything he had learned and cultivated in his life had been dedicated to creating the divine chariot. For this purpose, he traversed the world in search of materials and expended his energy, which caused his endless lifespan to rapidly wither. By the time of his final years, he was already white-haired and near death. Even without the heavenly calamity, he would have died once the divine chariot was completed. Treasure Master's dream was to craft the most powerful artifact in the world, one capable of killing celestial beings, destroying all rules, and tearing apart the heavens. His regret was left within the jade slip, eventually falling into Wang Lin's hands. Today, in this moment, it was in Wang Lin's grasp that the terrifying power to slay celestial beings was first unleashed. Though Waterpath Master had lived for countless millennia, once a servant of the boundary-sealing sovereign, and even a grand elder of the divine sect, he could not know all the secrets of the 4 great immortal domains. He was also unaware that there had once been an immortal, known as Treasure Master, who had created a divine artifact capable of threatening a third-step cultivator. This isn't a void nirvana treasure, and it doesn't even fit into any rank. What kind of treasure is this? The white-haired youth's expression shifted. He had come here with near absolute certainty of killing Wang Lin. The only concern was the heaven-defying force, but he had never imagined that Wang Lin would possess such a terrifying artifact. There was no time for further thought as the spear transformed into a divine chariot made from thunder beast, roaring as it shattered the sky, splitting the 5th order star domain, and heading straight for Waterpath Master. There was no howling sound. What remained was an indescribable killing intent, as though the spear itself had consciousness, flying out with the sole intention to kill. Since stepping into the 3rd step, Waterpath Master had rarely used all his powers in battle. But now, his eyes hardened, and at the moment the 10,000 zhang spear arrived, He swung his hands in front of him, his sleeves flaring. His right hand morphed into a claw, reaching forward with tremendous force. Great liberation, severing Tao. As Waterpath Master's words echoed through the heavens and earth, his right hand seemed to become the strongest rule capable of severing all matter. Where it passed, explosive sounds rang out, shaking the world. Even the void in front of him was completely cut apart, torn asunder, crumbling into pieces. The shattered void expanded violently, forming a jagged shape that spread outward. The explosive sounds reached their peak, roaring through the heavens and earth, rapidly approaching the 10,000 Zhang spear. In the instant they collided, an earth-shattering boom rang out, deafening to the ears. The intense sound roared within the 5th Order Star domain, reaching the 6th Order Star domain and causing countless cultivators to spit out blood, their faces filled with fear. The 10,000 Zhang spear was surrounded by the jagged cuts of the severing Tao, and the rumbling sound intensified, rising higher and higher like a massive wave. Finally, a shrill, piercing sound filled the air. The friction was so sharp that when it reached Wang Lin's ears, his 7 orifices bled, as if his body was being sliced apart. Intense pain surged through him as he coughed up blood, rapidly retreating. Waterpath Master's expression grew even grimmer. His eyes flashed with cold light, and he raised his right hand, pointing towards the sky. As his gaze flickered, he slashed downward with all his might. Great liberation, severing Tao blade. Destroy all rules. An earth-shattering boom sounded, and before Waterpath Master, a huge crack appeared in the heavens and earth. The crack was jagged, like a sawtooth, connecting the sky and earth. In the instant it split, it surged forward. Wherever it passed, the starry sky, the heavens, the earth, everything was cleaved in two, severed as if the laws of the universe had been undone. With astonishing speed, it almost instantly approached the 10,000 Zhang spear, sweeping across it with tremendous force. Boom, 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 boom. Amidst the violent roars, the last piece of the primordial continent where Wang Lin stood collapsed, turning into countless fragments that scattered away. His face grew pale, blood spurting from multiple parts of his body, and he was drenched in blood, nearly falling apart. Looking at the 10,000 Zhang spear, it trembled as the Tao blade that connected heaven and earth struck it. The violent sound echoed as it was forcibly severed into two by Waterpath Master's divine ability. With the spear destroyed, Waterpath Master did not relax. Instead, he gathered all his focus, his eyes growing even more solemn. From within the broken spear, a 7-colored rainbow emerged, bursting through the chaos, emitting a dazzling array of colors as it shot directly towards Waterpath Master. This is the 3rd divine chariot, the most powerful artifact created by Treasure Master in his lifetime. Compared to that towering spear, the dazzling rainbow-like light is what Waterpath Master truly cares about, and he feels an eerie sense of danger from it. The speed of the rainbow is so fast that, as it closes in madly, Waterpath Master retreats 3 steps for the first time. With a wave of his right hand, he summons a gigantic crack connecting heaven and earth that slashes through the spear, sweeping to break the rainbow-like light. However, at the moment when the crack and the rainbow light are about to collide, the crack suddenly shrinks in silence, vanishing into nothingness in the blink of an eye, as if it had never appeared. This unexpected change made Waterpath Master's expression change drastically. He retreated several steps and formed hand seals. Suddenly, a faint glow flickered in his eyes. He opened his mouth and spewed out a mist toward the front. This mist was pitch black, and as it appeared, an earth-shaking roar echoed. Within the mist emerged 9 enormous, ferocious ghost heads, roaring as they charged toward the rainbow-like light to devour it. Each ghost head represented the full power of a cultivator at the 3rd heavenly decay stage. Even without considering the Great Liberation Collapse Tao, or the Great Liberation Severing Tao, this divine ability that spewed out 9 ghostly mists was enough to sweep across any star domain with few opponents able to resist. At this moment, the 9 ghost heads roared furiously and rapidly approached, ready to devour the rainbow light. But just as they were about to devour it, they suddenly trembled. The rainbow light shone even brighter, enveloping the sky and earth, causing the ghost heads to emit miserable screams, all retreating in unison, not daring to stop it. Two of the ghost heads failed to evade in time and were struck by the rainbow light, instantly disintegrating into vast energy that scattered into the air. Waterpath Master's face darkened. He retreated once more and quickly formed hand seals to unleash another divine ability. At this moment, Wang Lin's face was pale, but a murderous intent flashed in his eyes. With a wave of his right hand, a trident materialized with a thunderous roar. His body surged violently, transforming into a massive ancient god hundreds of feet tall. He took a step forward, and the trident, howling, shot straight toward Waterpath Master. As he advanced, Wang Lin formed a seal with his left hand and pointed toward the sky. Immediately, the Art of Wind summoned, creating several black dragons that blew a devastating extinction wind, forming black spears that broke through the heavens and earth, charging toward Waterpath Master. The Art of Rain summoning spread as well, and under the shimmering light of countless crystals, numerous ice swords formed and flew forward. At the same time, the technique of summoning soldiers from beings was activated. The immortal sealing seal flew out of Wang Lin's mouth, and countless battle spirits surged, roaring in unison as they rushed toward Waterpath Master under the leadership of the souls of Void Master and Tian Yunzi. Furthermore, the earth-shattering technique accompanied Wang Lin's advance, and as he moved, illusory volcanoes erupted beneath his feet, emitting a terrifying destructive force. None of this mattered to Waterpath Master, though. What he cared about was the rainbow approaching at a maddening speed. With his hands forming seals, he suddenly closed his eyes. In an instant, he opened them again, and when his gaze fell on the approaching rainbow light, it seemed to hit the very fabric of space itself. A booming sound echoed, and a shockwave that seemed to shake the heavens erupted. The moment Waterpath Master's gaze touched the rainbow light, one of the rays immediately shattered. The remaining 6 rays did not stop and continued to charge forward. Waterpath Master closed his eyes once more, then opened them again, and within a short time, he repeated this several times. Boom, boom, boom. Under this unnamed divine ability, the rainbow light shattered, leaving only 3 rays of light remaining, now less than 10 zhong away from Waterpath Master. A distance of 10 zhong, for someone of his speed, was not even an instant. Spirit Stabilization Art. In this moment of crisis, Waterpath Master's eyes gleamed with strange light as he uttered those 3 words. At the moment he spoke these words, he froze the heavens, the earth, the laws, the operations of the world, all divine abilities, and the lives of all beings. In that instant, everything Wang Lin had done came to a halt. Even his body stopped, his expression one of shock, as his primordial energy seemed to condense, unable to move even a little. The rainbow, now consisting of only red, yellow, and blue colors, continued to make a roaring sound, like countless wild horses suddenly having their reins pulled. In a violent struggle, it halted just 3 steps away from Waterpath Master. What a strong artifact. It's a pity that there is clearly still one seal that hasn't been undone. Otherwise, even if I were at the early Void Nirvana stage, I would be wounded under its power. It forced me to use the Spirit Stabilization Art. Lu Zihao, if you can achieve this, you should truly be called a genius. Void Nirvana, ethereal, profound void, void cataclysm. The 3rd step in the Void Nirvana tribulation, spanning 4 realms. Only those who have reached the ethereal stage among the great powers can guarantee survival when all the seals on this treasure are activated. Waterpath Master's gaze flickered. The divine chariot had momentarily stunned him. Were it not for his mastery of divine techniques not belonging to this realm, he might have been wounded before even killing Lu Zihao. Although it would not be fatal, as a 3rd step great power to be injured by the counterattack of an ant was a disgrace. This treasure is not for you to wield. It belongs to me. With a flick of Waterpath Master's sleeve, a swirling vortex appeared in the center of his brow. The vortex, resembling a vast mouth, shot forward the moment it appeared, devouring the 3 rainbow streaks, red, yellow, and blue, before him. The enormous gap in cultivation between them was like an insurmountable chasm of eternity. Wang Lin stood frozen, watching it all unfold with flames of unwillingness burning in his eyes. I refuse to accept this. I still have 3 killing moves left. Even if I die, I will make him pay an unerasable price. Groups of mosquito beasts howled in the wind. They were the only rulers of the wind realm. Deep within the wind immortal realm, among the 3 floating continents, one was dark red in color. A strong, blood-like stench lingered in the air, and countless mosquito beasts hovered and buzzed, filling the sky with their ominous hum. On this dark red continent stood a stone statue of a humanoid figure. At this moment, the statue's eyes, once inert, began to twitch. Slowly, its ancient eyes opened. An unusual aura began to emanate from the statue, but strangely, none of the mosquito beasts seemed to notice it, as if the statue was invisible to them. This pawn, which I carefully set up, cannot be killed by that water path master so easily. The statue's eyes flashed with eerie light as it let out a cold grunt. Perhaps through his hands, I will find out whether this pawn is the reincarnation of that old boundary sealing sovereign, or if the heavenly reversal pearl truly lies in this boy's possession. The wind of the immortal realm grew stronger, howling as a breeze swept through the wind realm's gate, scattering into the starry sky. The vortex on Waterpath Master's brow consumed the 3 rainbow streaks in front of him. After closing his eyes for a moment, as if absorbing the energy, he opened them again, revealing swirling red, yellow, and blue pupils that seemed to unsettle the very air around him. His spirit stabilization art was vastly different from Wang Lin's binding technique. At this moment, it felt as if only he existed in the world, while all other beings and divine powers froze in midair. Yet, peculiarly, they did not dissipate, almost as though, without the consciousness of the white-haired youth, time would remain still forever. The black dragon spear, formed from the wind summoning art, hovered motionless in the air, its extinction wind frozen before it, pausing a foot away from the ground. The crystal light ice sword, formed from the rain summoning art, also suspended in the air, resembling a spiral of ice shards, a truly striking sight. Endless battle spirits, including those of Void Master, Heavenly Fate Master, and other powerful warriors, all remained frozen in place, as if time itself had halted their movements. Even the illusory volcanoes that had appeared beneath Wang Lin's feet as he walked, some already emitting thick black smoke and lava, had frozen, black smoke and magma suspended, unmoving, everything locked in place, including Wang Lin, who stood atop the black smoke in the void. In Wang Lin's hand, the trident still gripped tightly. White Fan from the Thunder Realm's 6 Paths, Triple Immortal Art. If Lu Zihao had mastered the triple art, I would face some difficulties in killing him. Even if he had learned the once awe-inspiring Dark Moon with Clear Sky art, it would still cause some trouble. But right now, except for the Dark Moon with Clear Sky, all the other techniques in the 6 Paths art are mere parlor tricks. Waterpath Master shook his head, ignoring the frozen Wang Lin. With a step, he approached the divine chariot formed by the Thunder Beast. His eyes swept over the chariot, and with a cold grunt, he raised his right hand and struck downward. With a loud crash, the Thunder Beast's divine chariot shattered, its contents frozen in time, becoming eternal. This treasure is full of flaws. I have no use for it, so I will destroy it. Waterpath Master's arrogance was evident, and he had a peculiar nature. He enjoyed destroying what others deemed precious, provided it was of no use to him. As a third-step cultivator, at the early stage of Void Nirvana, Waterpath Master truly had the power to do as he wished. The divine chariot, transformed from the Thunder Beast, collapsed. Wang Lin's eyes revealed sorrow, and his heart stung with pain. A boundless, formless flame ignited within him, but it was forcibly confined within his body. Amidst this grief, blood tears flowed from his eyes. 2 lines of tears that were as shocking as they were sorrowful. The divine chariot had accompanied him throughout much of his cultivation, and now it had been destroyed. His inner scream surged like a storm, and his gaze toward Waterpath Master became as dark and still as water. If I, Wang Lin, survive this tribulation, I swear by my heart. In this life, I will kill this man. I will kill him. Let him endure every form of torment before dying. If I break this oath, May my Tao dissipate, and may I die under the will of the heavenly Tao. Water Path Master's gaze swept across Wang Lin. What he enjoyed most was seeing those who believed they held treasures, only to reveal their suppressed fury after he destroyed their prized possessions. Such expressions made him feel his own power and the dignity he had lost years ago. Especially Wang Lin, whom Water Path Master had come to believe was the possessor of the heaven-defying. He was very likely the heir to his former master. Upon seeing Wang Lin's expression, Water Path Master felt even more satisfied. With a step, Water Path Master approached the seven-colored divine chariot. His eyes gleamed with strange light. He waved his sleeve, intending to take the chariot, but as he did, a flash of seven-colored light appeared. A seven-colored butterfly manifested and fluttered its wings before suddenly bursting apart into sparkling crystals, dissipating into the air. As it faded, the seven-colored divine chariot turned into an ordinary object. The treasure spirit would rather destroy itself than be taken by this old man. Water Path Master's eyes flashed with cold light. He raised his right hand and slapped downward. The now spiritless chariot exploded with a resounding bang, shattering into pieces. Now, let's see if you truly possess the heaven-defying. With a cold snort, Water Path Master turned to look at Wang Lin. At that moment, the entire world seemed to shake. It was as if everything beyond Water Path Master's body, every star in the sky, vanished. Only he and Wang Lin remained, and his gaze carried a terrifying, piercing power that directly landed on Wang Lin. In that instant, Wang Lin's body shook violently. It felt as though his body was being torn apart. Even his essence, spirit, and soul seemed to be pierced. All of his hidden secrets were laid bare under Water Path Master's gaze. The intense pain made veins bulge on Wang Lin's forehead. His entire body trembled, and sweat poured down like rain, but he could not make a sound, his body fully restrained. Water Path Master's gaze moved inch by inch over Wang Lin's body, especially focusing on his essence spirit. He examined it carefully from start to finish. Gradually, his brow furrowed. No? The Master once said that the heaven-defying would merge with the essence spirit, but this person's essence spirit has no sign of it. He is neither the Master's reincarnation nor the heaven-defying. Could I have made a mistake and found the wrong person? Water Path Master furrowed his brow and, with a flicker of movement, approached Wang Lin. He raised his right hand and slashed forward. With a resounding boom, a rift appeared outside Wang Lin's body, his storage space. Water Path Master's supernatural powers were astonishing. With his third-step cultivation, he easily opened Wang Lin's storage space and sent out his divine sense, sweeping through it. If there is no heaven-defying in the storage space, I'll search this man's soul. Water Path Master's eyes flashed with cold light, and his divine sense swept through Wang Lin's storage space, meticulously searching. Low-level items, but plenty of garbage, all of it useless, gone. The sound of explosions echoed through Wang Lin's storage pouch. Every item that Water Path Master's gaze touched was destroyed, turning to dust. While sweeping, Water Path Master's gaze suddenly froze as he spotted Su Ligua within the storage space. An interesting sword spirit, but still useless. Under Water Path Master's gaze, Su Ligua trembled. He was about to use his usual flattery technique to survive, but before he could, the Elder's destructive divine thought exploded in. Just as that divine thought was about to annihilate Su Ligua, Water Path Master's body shook. His divine thought shifted, sparing Su Ligua and immediately locking onto something else he saw. It was a vast, endless swarm of mosquito beasts. Although they were inside a separate storage space, a slight connection between them allowed Water Path Master's divine thought to penetrate and see them clearly. So, many giant mosquito beasts. Water Path Master was somewhat astonished. He scanned again, and this time his gaze fell upon a glowing coffin. Inside it lay a sleeping woman. Well, not all in this person's storage space is garbage. There's even the heaven-evading coffin, a treasure of the Flash Realm Immortal Emperor. This is a good treasure, and useful to me. Water Path Master's divine sense landed on the heaven-evading coffin, intent on taking both the coffin and the woman inside. In that instant, Wang Lin's body suddenly trembled violently, his eyes revealing an unprecedented madness. His true weakness was not the heaven-defying, nor the ancient god's body, nor the secrets of his soul, but the coffin, the woman inside the coffin. Huh. Waterpath Master paused, noticing Wang Lin's abnormal reaction. A mocking look flickered in his eyes. A passionate one, huh? This woman must be extremely important to you. Fine, I was planning to take her out after, but now, I'll do it right in front of you. It's said that if a living being within the heaven-evading coffin is taken out without the proper method, they will instantly disappear and be destroyed. Let's see if that legend is true. Waterpath Master's divine thought moved, and he immediately began to surround the heaven-evading coffin, preparing to open it. Meanwhile, his other divine senses continued to sweep the space, searching for the heaven-defying. Just as he was about to open the heaven-evading coffin, one of his divine senses suddenly shook violently, and he saw the silver-clad woman sitting cross-legged within the storage dimension. The moment his divine sense descended, the woman opened her eyes, and their divine senses collided. You are. Despite Waterpath Master's concentration, with his status as a third-step great power, his expression suddenly changed, and a trace of panic emerged. His mind became disordered. In the instant his mind was thrown into chaos, Wang Lin, who had been immobilized, suddenly flashed with a murderous intent in his eyes. A tremendous force erupted from within his body, as if he had devoured the iron sword's blood orb hidden within his primordial spirit, something Waterpath Master had never detected. Harnessing this earth-shattering power, a roar echoed from within him. In that explosive force, his previously restricted body suddenly regained movement. Seven-colored nail. Wang Lin bellowed with a deafening roar. In a place where Waterpath Master's divine sense had not reached within his storage dimension, a ray of seven-colored light shot out and rushed toward Waterpath Master's divine sense. Booms reverberated through the space as Waterpath Master's expression changed drastically. The seven-colored nail was so fast that it instantly pierced through his divine sense and shot out from the storage dimension, heading straight for his forehead. Waterpath Master, too close to Wang Lin, saw the seven-colored nail just as it appeared. His pupils contracted sharply. The Palm Sovereign's seven-colored void nails. You actually possess this artifact. The meteorite was entirely made of exotic metal, which the Palm Sovereign had painstakingly refined for 1,000 years, creating a total of 108 seven-colored nails, named the seven-colored void nails. It was said that the origins of this exotic meteorite were extremely mysterious. Once, the Palm Sovereign had tried to deduce its past using his time Dao art, but as he was on the verge of success, a mysterious force interrupted him, nearly injuring him severely. However, due to his profound cultivation as a third-step great power, he caught a fleeting glimpse of the meteorite's past just as the interruption occurred. When heaven and earth first began, they formed the ancient star of antiquity, which was later split in two, creating the inner and outer realms. Yet, within this vast starry void, the ancient star of antiquity was not the only one. The very meteorite that is now before us comes from a different star, one equal to the ancient star, but separated by the eternal chasm. This was what the Palm Sovereign proclaimed after awakening from his time Dao art, and he made no effort to hide this knowledge. In fact, he declared it to the world. This led to the seven-colored void nails becoming famous, and all great powers heard of them. Before this, Waterpath Master had witnessed the Palm Sovereign use the seven-colored void nails in battle, when the Palm Sovereign's master was wounded by a sneak attack, orchestrated by several ancient powers of the ancient immortal domain, as they combined to craft a malicious artifact over countless millennia. Afterward, the three sovereigns of the ancient star intervened, engaging in a life-and-death battle with the powerful forces of the immortal domain to seal the boundary sovereign. During that conflict, the Palm Sovereign wielded the 108 seven-colored void nails. Seeing the seven-colored void nails again now, Waterpath Master was shocked. He quickly retreated, knowing full well the danger of this artifact. Any third-step void nirvana cultivator who had the nails pierce their body would suffer devastating internal injuries. This nail was not meant to kill cultivators, but was specifically designed to harm third-step great powers. The mystery of the seven-colored void nails was such that even the Palm Sovereign could not fully decipher them. All he knew was that the artifact grew stronger when used against a powerful foe and weaker against a weaker one. The higher one's cultivation, the greater the damage caused. This strange phenomenon was beyond explanation, and only a shattered nirvana cultivator, such as Sima, might have figured out a way to survive. Wang Lin, with his powerful physical body, had forced the nail out. But for a third-step great power, it was nearly impossible to escape. Once a cultivator reached the third step, strange changes occurred within their body. While these changes represented an elevation in power, they also carried a peculiar transformation. Yet, this transformation was restrained by the 7 colored void nails, and the higher one's cultivation as a third-step great power, the harder it was to break free from the nails. This was a mystery that could not be explained. At first, Water Path Master had been startled by the swarm of mosquito beasts within Wang Lin's storage dimension. But when he encountered the silver-clad woman, he immediately recognized her identity and was astonished. His mind was deeply shaken, causing a rare moment of disorder for a third-step great power. Amidst the chaos in his mind, Water Path Master did not expect that Wang Lin, a mere insect, would break free from his divine binding technique and even unleash the 7 colored nails. All of this caused Water Path Master's face to drastically change. The 7 colored nails swept across the storage space, charging into the divine sense of the Water Path Master. It erupted in a blinding flash of 7 colors, shattering his divine sense in an instant. The nail pierced through the rift in the storage dimension and shot straight for the Water Path Master's forehead. The distance was too close. The Water Path Master desperately retreated, but the speed of the 7 colored nail was equally swift, striking without fail as soon as it was released. It flickered with a deafening screech, tearing through the starry sky and shattering the firmament. In the blink of an eye, it reached the Water Path Master's forehead. With a loud crash, the 7 colored nail pierced into his forehead, sinking an inch deep. It spun like a drill, continually burrowing inward, aiming to penetrate his skull and destroy his path. The Water Path Master's face went pale. He retreated once more, clasping his hands in a seal, desperately resisting the 7 colored nail. But he had once again underestimated Wang Lin. His attempt to extract the woman from the heaven-evading coffin had triggered Wang Lin's boundless fury. Like a dragon with a reverse scale, touching it would invoke its wrath. Li Muan was Wang Lin's reverse scale. If Wang Lin had already gone mad under the threat of life and death, now, with the Water Path Master attempting to take Li Muan, Wang Lin was completely driven to madness. This madness was no less intense than the feeling of the 7 colored nail piercing his body. This was no longer a choice between life and death, but the pursuit of something far more important than either. In this frenzy, the blood orb within the iron sword merged with Wang Lin's essence spirit. The blood felt like that of the 9-star ancient god, like the blood of the heavenly Tao. As it merged with Wang Lin's essence spirit, he immediately began to burn. His essence spirit burned, and even his soul ignited. An indescribable power seemed to erupt violently from his body, and with explosive sounds, the spirit stabilization art that had been restraining his actions shattered. Wang Lin surged forward, letting out a loud roar. His ancient god star mark on his forehead spun rapidly, and the star of conceptual law manifested. With the trident in hand, Wang Lin charged straight for the Water Path Master. His eyes were bloodshot, red light pouring from them, extending several feet. The pounding sounds in his body became frantic, making it hard to distinguish whether it was his heartbeat or the clash of bones. At that moment, even the Water Path Master was filled with rare astonishment upon seeing this scene. The terrifying red light radiating from Wang Lin's body caused his pupils to contract. His feet moved back, his speed increasing exponentially as he retreated. What he feared was not Wang Lin's divine abilities, but the bloodthirsty red glow emanating from Wang Lin's body. At that moment, nearly all of his cultivation was focused on resisting the 7 colored nail in his forehead. He had no time to deal with Wang Lin. His eyes flickered, and his retreating speed reached a terrifying level, almost shattering the void. Wang Lin would not let him retreat. All of his preparations and divine abilities, along with the countless treasures he had expended, had brought him to this decisive moment. If the Water Path Master was given time to resist the seven-colored nail, it would only lead to his inevitable death. As the Water Path Master began to retreat, Wang Lin charged forward in madness. The burning sensation from the blood he had consumed made him feel like a blazing comet. He threw the trident forward with all his might. His entire body roared as he poured all his strength into the trident, transforming it into an evil dragon that roared forward, heading straight for the Water Path Master. The seven-colored light in the Water Path Master's forehead was dazzling, spinning rapidly, about to shatter his skull. But it was met with all of his third-step cultivation, resisting the nail. The trident, transformed into a vicious dragon, bore down on him, and the Water Path Master's eyes flashed as he retreated. Even with the seven-colored heavenly nail, it's useless. Let me show you the gap between third-step beings and mere ants. The Water Path Master's eyes gleamed with coldness. He raised his right hand, gathering a surge of power. I originally intended to search your soul, but since you seek death, I'll grant you your wish. Great liberation, absolute void Tao. Obliterate all living things before me. The Water Path Master made a seal with his hand and slammed it forward. With a resounding boom, the heavens trembled as a wave of energy surged from all directions, locking down a vast range of the starry sky. White lines materialized, and from a higher vantage point, one could see the crisscrossing white lines forming a massive rhombus in the vast sky. The instant the rhombus appeared, it rapidly contracted. As it shrank, the pressure intensified, as if the very heavens and earth were being squeezed apart. The Water Path Master intended to crush Wang Lin to death with this force. The rhombus contracted violently, rapidly shrinking from a range of millions of miles to hundreds of thousands, then tens of thousands, 5,000, 3,000, 1,000, and 500, until it reached just 100 feet. In the blink of an eye, the range contracted from 10 million to a mere 100 zhang. This rapid shrinkage created a terrifying and earth-shattering pressure, capable of annihilating all the voids of heaven and earth. In that instant, the force descended frantically upon Wang Lin, enveloping his trident that had transformed into an evil dragon. Annihilate, destroy, collapse. Water Path Master retreated, his words echoing out. The moment his words fell, rhombus lines crazily contracted, charging directly at Wang Lin. They erupted with a brilliance that lit up the starry sky, compressing onto Wang Lin's body. With the force of the starry power from a range of 10 million, crashing onto a single person, it was almost like dozens of cultivation stars collapsing simultaneously, transforming into a mighty force to strike. The sound of explosions reverberated through the starry sky, shaking the star domain. At that moment, even within the 5th, 6th, 7th, and even 8th order star domains, the thunderous rumblings could be heard. Under this destructive power, Wang Lin's body collapsed with a tremendous crash. Flesh and blood scattered, and even his head exploded. Not to mention the trident, which shattered instantly, letting out a mournful cry, like the soul of the trident, dying. The absolute power, the unchallenged authority of a third-step supreme being, was unleashed by Water Path Master in that instant. From ancient times until now, no second-step cultivator had ever defeated a third step. This truth was as absolute as the laws of heaven and earth. But at that very moment, the body of Wang Lin, which had exploded in destruction, with flesh scattering in all directions, suddenly flickered with a bizarre red glow. It was as though everything reversed. His flesh immediately contracted, and in the blink of an eye, it seemed as if he was reborn, his body reforming once again. A rebirth. This is impossible. Water Path Master was stunned, momentarily frozen.